My name is Hein de Jong. I'm a trainer and a facilitator of value engineering in the Netherlands. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about value engineering. What is it? Why should you do it? So when do you do value engineering and why would you do it? Well, this is my first statement. Sometimes your project is bigger than your budget. You don't have enough money. That's it, right? Or sometimes, if you work, for example, in a ministry, you have more projects than you have budget. And sometimes projects have large risks of cost overrun or other things, bad performance, or some functions are missing. Also, sometimes value engineering is done when the business case is bad. So it doesn't deliver what you hope it would deliver. The return on investment is not so good. And to be honest, 95% of the projects have at least some of these issues. So value engineering would help very much those 95%. Also a statement is that 95% of all projects can save already 10% in the design stage without pain or quality reduction. That's a bold statement, isn't it? So you can make it 10% cheaper if you use value engineering without even noticing it. Why? Many reasons. We will come back to that one. But these are statistics from the value engineering studies we've done. We did more than 100 studies. And 95 out of those 100 indeed had 10% cost savings and more. Easy. I will give you some examples later on. So someone said, well, you know, value engineering is just about getting best bang for your buck. That's typical American saying. That guy was American. He said, get bang for your buck. If you want better value for money, then you do value engineering. Very simple. It's your gut feeling that tells you that you want it. Do value engineering. Oh, Alvin, are you online? Can you share your screen? Or can you tell us about this one?
Yes, I am online, Mr. Hein.
Okay, let me introduce this fellow. He is my colleague in Indonesia, and I taught Alvin about this value engineering, and we did together for 4 years value engineering studies, and Alvin knows exactly this picture because he made it. So Alvin, can you explain?
Yeah, just like Hein mentioned, so value engineering is basically giving you the bangs for the bucks, which means we did it in Indonesia, where the value engineering concept is quite foreign. It is quite new concept in Indonesia. So we test the value engineering methodology for 25 projects across Indonesia's for road, bridges, or even slope, including toll roads, in 16 provinces, and they are spread out throughout the island. And interestingly, we found out some kind of potential saving. It is 37%. So it costs so we can gain around 370 million USD of the cost saving. Meanwhile, the value engineering program itself, it only costs 1 billion USD. So yeah, if you think about it, you invest like 1 billion USD, and you get a potential cost saving of 370 million USD in all of those 25 projects. So that is what I mean by getting bangs for your bucks.
Yeah, right.
Just like in here, so there is a return on investment here. Like for every $1 that you invest in the value engineering program, you will get 1,850 USD. So yeah, that's it.
So the value engineering program paid itself back 1,000 to 2,000 times, right? So you put there, actually, that was a free training. You invest $200,000 and you get $370 million back. Oh, that's good. I would do the same, and I hope you'll do too. Are there already some questions so far? Any questions? Also not from Bashish or Subhash?
Yeah. So actually, it would be good if you go much more deeper inside how these figures were achieved. And
Yeah.
was there any such kind of the preconditions that value engineering needs to be implemented while delivering that project, or was that casually decided by the provincial government, or was there a mandatory clauses by funding via ADV?
Yeah, good question, Subhash. So this was an Asian Development Bank project, and they mandated that value engineering would be implemented. And we said, okay, we are going to give training, and we are going to do it on pilot projects. We had 6 pilot projects, but it worked so good that they extended it to many more projects. So it was mandatory in the beginning. The training for them was surprisingly new, and it was international certified. So they were very happy to do it, because who doesn't want an international certificate? And time after time, the projects became better. And let me show you how it worked. We have some of the alternatives of the projects here. The Kretek Bridge was one. It was a cable-stayed bridge, and we did a value engineering study with the team, and after that, it became a girder plus accessory. The initial cost was 37 million. It ended up with about 28. The cost reduction was 25%. It's quite some engineering here and quite some discussions, but it ended up like this. So that looks a little bit, this is cable stayed on the left, and on the right, you see the girder bridge. You can imagine this is a big difference. So this is not the real picture from the real project, but I had to take an example of the cable stayed bridge. But actually people love the left one. But if you look at the price tag, you do the right one. It's that simple. There was a flyover. The flyover had a box girder. Actually, it ended up with the same price, but there were extra functions added. So they got more bang for the buck, not by paying less, but you just could get more. Another bridge, cable stayed to concrete. Another thing, the grade in the hills, the maximum was set as 8%. However, on some places we could do 10%, and an existing bridge could be used if we would do that. And then the cost reduction would be 40%. We checked the safety, we checked the speeds, we checked the travel time. It was good enough. And good enough is good enough, right? So if you want it better, you must pay a lot more, and it's not necessary. And then a project about a wall. The idea was we make a board pile. However, the alternative could be foam mortar. So you need some experts in your value engineering team who know the difference and who can tell if it's going to work. It does work, you save 27%. So instead of the board pile like this one, you could use foam concrete, and that would be, well, way cheaper. In this specific project, this was possible. And in this specific project, you would save 27%. Any questions so far? No questions. Then I continue. So who is going to do value engineering? Who wants it? It is, I put it on this sticky note here, the yellow one in the middle. It is the organization that has to pay. Usually they are the main driver to do value engineering. Makes sense, right? If you pay, you want to get the best bang for your buck. Sometimes also it's a bank, like the Asian Development Bank. They lend money and they want to know sure that the people are doing the best thing. So the return on investment is best, the risks are low. So the loan, Asian Development Bank, is partly also taking risks. They reduce the risk and get a better outcome. Also, people who need the outcome for a road or a bridge, the users, they want the best, of course. They pay the taxes and they want the best value for money, for the tax money, right? So in some countries, like the United States, they don't trust the government so much. So they made it mandatory for large projects to do value engineering. Right. And finally, of course, you have the engineer himself. He wants to do a good job. How can you do a good job? Well, sometimes you should apply value engineering as well, just because you want to do it very well and get best value for money. And you may have other reasons to do it as well. Maybe a reason is, well, if I also have this kind of certificate, I have a better chance to get a good job, or I can do my job better. Right. So how do you get a design with best value for money? Well, all value engineering studies, they end up with a list of ideas to improve a project, and sometimes even a graphic like this. So say, for example, I'm very hungry and I can eat some peanuts, an apple, or a pear. Then I have to pay for it. It's on the x-axis, but also my fulfillment of needs, which is feeling hungry, not feeling hungry. The cheapest thing is here. If I pay more, I can get an apple. The pear is also very tasty, but costs way more. So which one am I going to take? Well, let's talk about it, right? And there's one innovative thing, is the book. I can also buy a cookbook. That's an innovation, right? Cookbook is a little bit more expensive than the apple, but oh, look at see, it's nearly as good as the pear, but it's more well, sustainable, right? Or suppose we need new barracks for soldiers in an emergency situation. So the cheapest is this tent camp, right? Tent camp is cheap and it will work. It's big enough. If I want to make it a bit more luxurious and maybe more sustainable, I can buy or build barracks like this, 2-story. Can be done, not too bad. Or if I am feeling a luxury, maybe kind of container houses with some nice print on it. I don't know why it would be so expensive actually, but okay. Maybe it's better than this one. Or someone says, we have an old building. Why don't we renovate it? And it can look like this. It's maybe this looks better than this one. So the life cycle costs, here is the cheapest tent, in the middle two. Well, to be honest, this one can do apparently better. The fulfillment of needs is better. So this would be, or this one would be nice. It already is good enough. This one is already good enough. So I don't need better. So I throw that one away. Oh, okay. Don't do this one. So it will be this one or this one. Well, this one has a better fulfillment of need. So probably it's this one. And we don't do this one. So the battle is between the tents or the renovation. This is where the arguments should be, right? In the value engineering study, you would investigate this situation. The arguments, why is it better? Why would you spend more money? Or why don't you? Yeah. Questions so far?
Yeah, hi. Till now, observing your presentation, I'm still not getting two answers. Like, I actually have two questions stuck in my mind right now. The first one is from the all participants, that is, so does value engineering application curtail the design ideas of engineers in favor of cost? The first question is that. And the follow-up question is, how can value engineering be tailored to the design build method of project delivery, like where contractor has its one kind of the thought process to deliver the project? Using such kind of the materials or selecting such kind of the design. So could you please address these two questions first?
Yeah, so can you repeat the first question, please?
Yeah, the first question is about, does value engineering application curtail the design ideas of engineers in favor of cost?
Yeah, so you usually do value engineering at about 1/3 of a phase. So you have the feasibility study, detailed engineering phase. So value engineering value is about functions and performances versus the cost. So let's do an example to make this clear. Arun, you can put your questions in the chat so I can proceed my story, else it doesn't work too well. Okay, let's do an example. I have a battery charger for my phone. It's a power bank. It has a cable and it has a power bank. So my question for you is, what are the functions? What does it do? Anyone, give me some functions. What is it doing, the power bank? What is it doing? What is a power bank doing? Unmute yourself. Sorry, yeah?
For charging.
Charging, yeah, charge phone, very good. Charge phone. More functions. How does it charge your phone? How does a power bank charge a phone? How about store energy?
Storing light.
Yeah. It gives power from battery, exactly. So it transfers, must also transfer power. And there was a little screen on it, right? The 100, that's indicate charge or so. Indicate or energy level. This one can do that. Okay, those are some functions, right? So we now take the battery or the power bank. You can also do this for a road, or you can do it for a bridge or whatever. Okay, that's function. Store energy, transfer power, charge phone. What would you say is the performance of such a thing? What are performances of a power bank? You will know that. So 97 people. 97 people. Tell me.
Solar energy.
Sorry, again?
Solar energy.
Yeah. Store energy. Storing energy is the function. So how well is it doing that function? How would you quantify it? It's quantifying a function, actually, the performance. How do we quantify storing energy?
Fast charging.
Yeah,
we can quantify using speed of charging, yeah, time to charge, yeah, power output.
Right, now we are speaking sense.
The storage efficiency.
How long the power is stored?
Good. How long can it store energy? How much energy, of course. How much? That is in the well, probably ampere hour or so, right? So if you have, or 20,000 milliampere hour is a nice one. Okay, what are the costs for the battery? What are the costs of a battery? Oh, you must purchase it. What else? Total life cycle, right? What are costs for a battery? What are the costs for a battery? Renting. Do you rent a power bank in Nepal, or do you just buy it?
Just buy.
Yeah. Well, okay. In this case, there's no leasing, no renting, but maybe it would be. What else?
More probably
Electricity.
the electricity charge.
Yeah, exactly. Electricity bill. Maybe replacement after 1,000 times charging. Maybe there is some maintenance or repair. Yeah, true. Battery type. Yeah, what is battery type doing? Is it a function? Is it in performance, or is it in cost? Lifespan. Yay! I've got it here, but I like the wording. So let's put here lifespan of
Power energy.
Sorry?
He's saying power energy.
Power energy. Well, I think we have it here already. So, okay, well, anyway, so we are now trying to figure out the value of the battery. So it charges phones, it transfers power, it stores energy and can indicate energy level, the speed of charging, the time to charge, the power output, how long it can store and how much energy is the performance. And we need to purchase it. Maybe you can rent it somewhere. We need to pay for the electricity bill with maintenance. It has a certain lifespan. It doesn't take 10 years probably. A replacement after 1,000 times charging. That's a little bit the same like lifespan, it depends. So how can we improve the value of the battery charger? If you have a question, put it in the chat section, please. That's easier for me. Arunsha, can you put your hand raised? If you have a question, can you put it in the chat section? So how can we improve the value of this one? Safety, yeah. Safety is, I would put it probably in performance. It has to do maybe with, I know, temperature. Lower than, well, maybe 60 degrees or so. And it certainly shouldn't explode. And it shouldn't blah, 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 blah. Pressure. That's nice. Pressure lower than 1.2 bar or so, probably. And maybe there are some other things that safety should do. I don't know. Maybe it should be max limit current or so. So, how much for the phone thing? 5 ampere. If it would be more, there would be a risk for burning the cable. How can we improve the value? Use higher quality cells. Yay, that's true. So that we increase the lifespan, and if we increase the lifespan, the costs are probably going down, and that's good for the life cycle. Same function or less for less cost? Yeah, of course. So we lower the cost. Good idea, Ayush. Or add function. Very good. What functions can we add to the battery charger? Who has got an idea? Let's add a function. Let's do some value engineering. Good marketing, good idea. Adding function. Who has a function which we can add to the power bank? Give me a function for a power bank, a new function.
That could
Hopefully
be
not too expensive.
that could be adding I mean like cross light or something.
Torchlight, yay! Emit light. Emit light. Some do have indeed a little lamp on it, which makes sense actually, often. So the cost for the light are very little, but well, it's added something. Strap to the phone. So we can strap, then with the strap you can carry power bank. Strap. Wireless charging function, yay! It's wireless charging. Right. Now we are speaking about nice power banks, right? You can do the same with roads and bridges and with an auto power cutoff, adding multiple ports. You are doing fine. Yeah. Let's wait. You are doing good. You are doing good. So what we are doing now is a little bit of a workshop. I will show you how a real value engineering workshop looks like. What happens there? So many value engineering studies, they happen in a kind of pressure cooker. Everybody in the same place, in the same room. There is a facilitator, that's the value engineering. He's the guide and the architect for the value engineering study. You have a multidisciplinary team. People who know about the technique, people who know about the use. Some people know, for example, about concrete, some about batteries, some experts for foundation or for cabling or whatever. You need to have some goals. What would be the goal of the value engineering study? If you don't have a goal, you don't know where to go, right? So often it is make it cheaper, make it better, reduce risk, make sure we get best value for our money, etc. You need a design. Some design must be there. And remember, garbage in is garbage out. So we need a pretty good design, which is designed well, then you can optimize it. So this is also directly an answer to the question, what if, did I do my work not good? If you can optimize it, that's not true. You must make a good design, and then you go in the pressure cooker, and then you have the chance to optimize it, because everybody is trying to figure out what it is doing and how he or she thinks it might be improved. You need a structured process. I will explain. It takes 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days in energy and time to do a good value engineering study. 2 days is usually the minimum. 5 days is usually the maximum, or you spread it out over weeks. So you do little parts, little chunks after each other, also possible. Okay. Any question about the pressure cooker? Can you put it in the chat section if you have a question? Is it clear for everybody? Okay, then I proceed. So when do you want to do this pressure cooker? That's a question most people think. Usually you do it pretty much in the beginning of a phase. Well, not completely at the start, you can do, but usually you need to have something on paper already, a concept, and you say, well, now I want to hear your comments. After that, the designer may proceed. So it's often at 30%. It can be in the early phase. It can be in the design, in the preliminary design phase or the feasibility study. Sometimes they do it in the detailed engineering phase, also good. And there you do it at 30%. During construction, well, any change is so expensive during construction that usually that's really too late. You better do it early. So the process, I said it has a structured process. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. How does it work? In the pressure cooker, we start with the information phase, the preparation you do before you go to the workshop, right? That's a task for the project manager and the value engineer. You share information in the pressure cooker. Everybody shares his information about the design, drawings, reports, PowerPoints, cost estimates, etc. Then you do lots of analysis. You analyze the functions, you analyze the performances, you analyze the cost, you analyze the outcome, and then you can become very creative, because if you have this much information, this usually takes a whole day, then you can be very creative. When you are creative, you try to find out which of the functions are very expensive, which of the functions don't perform well, which are the risks or anything else, and you start sparking ideas. Every value engineering study has about 100, 150, 200 ideas in the end. Can we do it at the procurement phase by asking alternate design? Yeah, you can. You can. During procurement, especially for procurement for a design, right? You can do it. If you are going to buy it, you still can ask if the contractor has better ideas, or if the contractor would like to do a value engineering study to get started. That's okay. That's okay, because you still have room for improvement. So you have 150, 200 ideas, you select the best ideas which have added value. So everybody thinks those ideas are really worthwhile to try it out. So you take an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, maybe some days to elaborate ideas. Then you come back, you look what the change is going to cost. You look if the performance is better, if it can be implemented in time, if there are no objections from anybody else. And then you can conclude, okay, we've got good ideas. Let's do it. And that's where nearly every project can have saved 10% of the cost, because many things, if you have one design, then you can tell, okay, this is a bit expensive, that could be done better, this is perfect already, we cannot make it cheaper. But there are always opportunities to improve. So to be honest, if it only takes 2 days to get a 10% cheaper out of an expensive project, why wouldn't you do it? When you're ready, you draw your conclusions and you present it to the management. You don't take the decision by yourself in the value engineering team, you present it to the management and the management can say, okay, we do it or we don't do it or whatever, right? It's they are the one who pay, they take the decision. If you look at this plan, it's called the job plan, step 1 to 3. It has very much similarities as the scientific approach in investigating something. You first observe, you start asking questions, you make some hypotheses. How would it be if? Could it be so that this or that idea might improve? You experiment, you just try it out. You have 150 ideas and you're going to speak about it. Would it work? Why would it? Why wouldn't it? Could we make it work? If we can't make it work, we put it away. So Priya asked, does value engineering promote short-term saving at the cost of long-term sustainability? That's a good question. So usually you say, if the project lifetime is 30 years and after that is renewed, so then it would be for 60 years, you have to take that into account. Life cycle costs also are taken into account. And if you say that, for example, sustainability is the performance of a system, so then the function would be, for example, save nature. So our project must also save a little bit of the nature because we know it will be some clash between our road and the nature. So we want to measure the nature a little bit, and every time we make it cheaper or more expensive, bigger or smaller, we will see the effects. And then we can make a decision. Do we want to save this money at the cost of the nature or not? Because some reasons. So long-term sustainability should be part of the project. It should be part of your design and it should be part of the thinking in value for money. So you can make it very cheap, but if you make it very ugly, very bad for sustainability, what are you doing, right? It doesn't provide best value for money. Everybody lost to a certain extent the sustainability. It's a balance. It's a balance we should try to find. So we may put an idea there. How can we improve the sustainability? We will get ideas and we will look at the cost and we will analyze the effect. And if the effect is good and the costs are good, well, we can draw our conclusions, right? And we can present it to the management and they can approve or disapprove the idea. Are there any other questions so far? So I presented you 2 very important pictures. It's a pressure cooker, and in the pressure cooker, we do a very careful designed process. Any questions? Can you put them in the chat section? Can changing design from VE outcome after construction cause project delays and increased cost? Yeah, ideas. If you have 150 ideas, there will be ideas that will delay the project. And then it is the big question, are we going to do the idea and include the delay in the project? Do we want it? Sometimes it's a yes, and sometimes it's a no. If a project, for example, would become really cheaper, and it would cause a delay of 2 months, for example, because you must do some redesign or blah, 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 I don't know, whatever. Well, if you would save 5% of the money on an expensive project and have 2 months delay, then you have to make your own choice, right? What's the balance? Is it valuable or is it not? And sometimes it is valuable because the money actually is more important than being very quickly ready. But sometimes time is crucial because of any reason. Something is going to happen and it must be ready before it happens. So ideas that will take time to implement are nearly always, in that case, they are removed. Can changing increase cost? Yes, sometimes it can increase cost because you get more functions or performance. So say, for example, we have a road and we want to add lighting because it's a safety issue, but it will increase the cost, but it will be a safer system. Then you have to weigh, shall we add the lights in the road and increase the cost? Or don't we do it? It was not in the original design. The value engineering team says, well, in some areas near big crossings, there should be lamps that must be added. We think it will have added value because safety is worthwhile something, and then it has increased cost. Good question. Conflict of interest. There can be conflict of interest not only during construction phase, but also during the design phase. And that is one of the reasons why the project team doesn't take decisions, or the value engineering team. You make ideas, and when you evaluate the ideas, some people may say, I don't like the idea because it's extremely ugly. And some people say, yeah, but you know, I like the idea because it's much safer. So then we have a conflict of interest. Someone is only looking at it, someone is using it. Safety versus the looks. And if we cannot close that argument during the value engineering session, then in the presentation we say we agree to disagree upon the aesthetics and safety. We can make it safer, but some people say it's very ugly. And then management, you must take the decision because the value engineering team only can put the arguments there, but we didn't end with one single conclusion. It's an agree to disagree. Value engineering only relate with cost. Sandeep asked it. Well, it's not only cost, right? It's function, it's performance and cost. It's the balance. It's like the weighing scale. Add functions, add cost. No, adding function, adding performance at the same cost is giving you more value. So how can we know if a project has used the value engineering? Good question, Sandeep. You know that the project has done value engineering if they can show a long list of ideas, if they can show the analysis, if they can show a report of the value engineering study, then you know they did value engineering. Does engineering, yeah.
Mr. Hein, there were two more questions regarding, you haven't still talked regarding the quality perspective of the project while doing the value engineering.
Yeah.
And one more question was on top of the chat box. Is there any differences between value engineering and value analysis? I mean,
Yeah.
either those two terms similar to each other?
Yeah, they're nearly the same. They're a little bit different, but that's too much detail for today. So for now, I call value engineering, value analysis, and value management exactly the same. That's for now precise enough. Quality. What is quality? I love quality, you know. My nickname is Mr. Quality, but I always translate quality to function and performance. So quality can be, for example, how much times can I charge the battery? How many cars can drive over the asphalt with a certain weight until it breaks down? What is the lifetime of a bridge? That's also a quality thing, right? And lifetime is coming back in the cost because we always use the life cycle cost. Life cycle means the cost to buy the thing is the investment and the cost for maintenance over a certain period of time. So a road or a bridge, let's say it will live for 30 years at least. It has 1% maintenance per year. You always need to do something, right? Let's say 1%. So if we can extend the lifetime of the bridge by adding a little bit of money, so it can survive 50 years, or the chance that it will break during earthquake has reduced, then you can improve the quality. And it would be fantastic if you can do that without adding cost, but maybe a little bit of cost, 10% extra cost for 50% more lifetime. That may be a good deal if you have the money right now. Yeah. So yes, Uma, it does incorporate life cycle cost analysis. It does. So you can make it cheaper. And if the life cycle costs go down, you may say if you like that or not, because the total life cycle cost will go up, but the investment will go down. And sometimes, you don't have more money at this moment, and you say, well, we do it for 30 years. We don't improve it for 50 years because we don't have the money right now. And in 30 years from now, we must repair it. Fair deal. That's a fair deal. As long as we have discussed it well, as long as we had the arguments on the table, then you can go for less, right? Now, let me see. I think I had answered many questions. If you have more questions, post them in the chat section, okay? One of the things that I will teach you during value engineering training, and I'm doing it today as well, is that asking questions is a major competence of a value engineer. Asking questions is a major competence of a value engineer. So you must ask questions. Why? Because a good question is half the answer. And I always say that asking questions is a major competence of a value engineer. So if you want to be a value engineer, start asking questions. Why is it like this? Why is it like that? Before you jump to conclusions, before you give a better design, you first must ask why and figure out why the design is as it is. And the more questions you have, the more creative you will become later. I will show you that in some minutes. Right. There are nine value questions which we often use, and we have a very nice format for it. It looks like this. Today we are going to use it, but doing it a little bit different. The 5 value questions are related to, the first question is, do we really need it? Do we need it? Do we need the power charger, the power bank? Do we need a road? Do we need a bridge? It has to do with the functions in the value formula. Remember, value is function times performance divided by the cost. Do we really need it? That's the function. Another question is, how much do we need it? How much do we need it? It has to do with performance. It should qualify the system we are making. How much of the road do we need actually? How much do we need the road? This is trying to quantify it. So you can imagine, this is a very generic question, right? So I need to make it very specific if I know which topic of interest we are speaking about. So if we have the power bank, then I would want to know if we really need it. How long does the phone last with? If your phone has a battery life of a week, why would you need a power bank then? If it lasts for only an hour, your battery, then you can buy a power bank, but you probably could also buy a new battery for your phone. It's just information I should have, right? Power bank more. Why do you need more charges? How much do we need it? Right. So how many charges needed? How much do we need it? Or maximum? Max. When is it enough actually? How much do we need it? How much does one charge take actually? Or well, I don't know. Many questions can be asked. And another question, what if you spend less money? So which questions would be relevant if I'm looking at a charger? Spend less money. Can I do this with a 10,000 milliampere hour charge power bank? Can we use a wall socket and mobile adapter instead of power bank? I mean, in every restaurant or wherever you can charge your phone, right? So why would you carry it? Would you spend less money? Do you mind carrying the weight of bank? Well, etc., etc., etc. So now it's your turn. I want you to ask questions, and we have a very nice case study. So Bashish, can you explain the case study, please, about this beautiful new highway?
Okay, sir.
Please. So what is the case study?
So this is Kathmandu Tarai or Modesh Expressway, which is also known as Fast Track. So it's basically a 72.5 kilometer high-speed expressway designed to connect Kathmandu with the southern plains in just an hour drive. The project is currently led by Nepali army with an estimated cost of 213 billion Nepalese rupees. It includes tunnels, bridges, interchanges, and aims to reduce travel time, stimulate trade, and decentralize development. While it promises connectivity and national pride, people have mixed opinions. Land acquisition issues, environmental impact, project delays and overruns, and whether such high cost projects are justified. As value engineers, we now ask, are we maximizing function for each unit of rupee or currency which we are investing? Let's dive in with the 9 value questions and explore this mega project together.
All right. So this is a project, an expensive project, and let's do some value engineering on it. Let's do the 9 value questions. So you look at the picture, look very good at it. We are going to buy it for $17 million. Are we? Look carefully, and when you're an engineer or an analytical person, you will have some thoughts about it, right? So let's try. So this is the project, and my question is, do we really need it? Take your phone, scan the QR code, and you will jump to a page where you can post a sticky note, and a sticky note will come right on this board. So start asking questions about the project. The question is why or how or whatever, and it ends with a question mark. Don't give answers, ask questions. Everybody should ask at least 1 or 2 questions, okay? Everybody, including Elvin, including Bashish, including Subhash, ask some questions about the project. So the main question is, do we really need it? And questions like this, look, the first question is coming. Why is it a fast track? Oh, good question. Who is going to ask the second question? Who will ask the second question? Scan the QR code on your phone. Yeah, you don't need to go to Miro. You can just scan the QR code on the screen. Yeah, KTFT project has used value engineering. Good question. Did you use value engineering? Good question. Do we need to this standard? Good question. Why is the road so wide? Good question. Please scan the QR code and ask some questions. So what was the project? This is the project. Oops, let me put it here. This is the project. This is the story. On the left, you see the project and the story. On the right, you see the QR code. Now, ask questions. I see the questions coming in now. So Jayendra, you can put questions in the chat section from Zoom, but you can also scan the QR code on your phone, and then you can post a sticky note yourself. Why is the Nepali army leading the project? Look, the questions are coming in. If train would be better than too wide road, can railway be an alternative solution? I'll put a question mark there. What's the purpose? By when will we hit break even? Oh, good question. Why is it taking too long to complete? Good question. Why do we make it now? Good question. Do you have an alternative route which we can use? Good question. What are the challenges faced during construction? Don't forget the question mark. That really makes it a question. Is future public transportation good? Isn't it too expensive? Yeah, it's a good question. And then a long question. As a value engineer, what can be best possible alternative for fast because of good question. Also, how will it affect the roadside economy? Oh, good question. Is this the first mega project in Nepal? Good question. Continue, friends. Is there an existing road? Good question, Alvin. Is this an alternative road to an existing one? Good question. Continue, fellows. Everybody. We have 80 people online. We need to have at least 80 questions, okay? Everybody should have at least one question. So Nepal is going to buy this road, to build this road, as it is here, for $1.6 billion. Don't you have a question about the need? Why? I will put a question from the chat section here. Why investigate a large amount? Oh, I cannot copy paste it. Why invest a large amount of mega structures? That is in the chat section. Is it worth? Can we upgrade the existing system? Can we upgrade existing road? Good question. Why do Nepal need to reduce the travel time in this project? How bad is the existing travel time? Is any connectivity will be better than this one? Is it too expensive? What are the future plans for improving or expanding this highway? Good question. That's also about the need, right? Do we need it? Continue. Do we really need this? Why is there a road on the left side, 3 lanes, and do we have a 2x2 highway? What? Oh yeah, look at this. Look at this. We have a highway here, and here is also a road. Don't you have questions? And then look at there. There are some roads here, right? I don't know what happens, but I think we must ask some questions here. It is crossing there. Okay, next one. Let's go to the next one. How much do we need it? How much do we need it? So we go to the second question. This is about performance of the system, right? Remember, value engineering is about function, performance, and cost. So now we are going to the performance side. Quantifying the functions. How much do we need it? Which questions can you ask about this highway, about anything that has to quantify? How much travel time will it reduce? Very good question. Okay, everybody, try. I will put it I see a question in the chat section. I will write it down. Was the need discussed with the user community? Good question. Which is better, airway or landway for Nepal in terms of construction cost? Good question. What is better, airway or landway? Well, that's a good question. Come on, everybody. You must ask questions, more questions. Give me more questions. I will tell you later why. Will it reduce highway toll cost? Toll or toll cost? I think it's toll cost, right?
It's toll cost, yeah.
Toll, yeah. How many exits were designed? Yeah, good question. How many exits were designed? This is difficult, asking good questions. But you cannot improve if you don't have questions. So in value engineering, we need clever people with clever questions. Try. How much do we need this road? Which questions must be answered, must be asked to know that this really is a good investment? How many exits were designed? How much people will use the road? Good question, Alvin. So everybody, one question at least, okay? Put your question here. I need at least 77 questions. Does this pass consist of lights and proper drainage system? Good question. What are the socio-economic benefits? Good question. How it would be fruitful if N.I.E airport project would be out of track? Good question, if I understand it well. How much forest area needs to be cut down? Yeah, good question, actually. It doesn't look like too much forest, but this is an artist's impression, right? Will there be township development at exit point to diffuse the population of Kathmandu? Whoa, that is one of the goals of the road, right? But is it actually happening? Good question. It's a good check if the design is as it tends to be. How much do we need it? Anything to quantify this project? How many rest areas were designed? Good question. How much cost difference? How much difference will it make for traveling cost? Like petrol and lodging. How much difference will it make for traveling cost? Like petrol, diesel, lodging. That's a very good question, Yogendra. Very good question. So you make the road because the cost of the traveling are going down, right? So instead of many hours, it's just 1 hour. Does this road pay itself back, actually? Is it needed to make it so fast, or is a bit slower also good? Suppose if we could reduce the cost with 50% by making it less wide, less fast, more winding. How much impact on economic status of locals? Good question. That's very much related to one of the core goals of the road, right? Which techniques do you use to identify areas for cost reduction? That's a value engineering question, eh? That's going too far at this moment. But I can mention them. I'm not going to explain them. You do the Pareto analysis, you do a function diagram, you allocate cost to functions, you try to figure out the risks, you see where the need is, and you see where the design capacity is, and you try to find out where it is too big or too small. And anything that doesn't have a very good match, then it would be an area for value engineering to improve the value, which can be cost reduction, or you have to add cost to fix a problem. Why isn't applied the quality of road the same standard throughout the world? Like we follow the SI units throughout the world. Bam Bahadur, very good, very good. Good question. If that would be the question, Bam, which question would you ask for this project? For this specific project, so your question is very big, you are going global, but now in this project, will it help in technology and expertise transfer to Nepali engineers? Good question. More questions. Are there more questions? If you are wondering how you would, the areas for cost reduction, which questions do you need to ask? If you would think, I know how to reduce cost on a project like this, which questions do you need to ask first before you give a solution? Which questions would be great for inspiring people to reduce cost? How much economic losses can be stopped? Fuel, delay time, and vehicle wear. Yeah, good question. That's the benefit of a good road. Huh? Will it be able to cater heavy loads like more than 50 tons? Good question. Are we doing good? Oh, this one is here. How many lanes minimum? Good question. Okay, and now we are going to question number 3, the last question, and then I will show you a little creativity on this project. Please go to question number 3. What if we spend less money? It is, don't give answers, only ask questions. Suppose we would spend less money. Which questions do you want to ask to know if it would work? Which questions do you need to ask to know if you could do this with less money? Which questions? Will it be sustainable? Without compromising function, could we do this? I don't understand the question. What if we spend less money? Will it decrease its road capacity? Now, the question is nearly good. So will it decrease road capacity? Which question do you need to ask more if you look at this question? How about how much capacity do we need? Or what is the, let me see. How would the project look if we only have 50% of the money? Yeah, that's my favorite. Who is the main targeted audience? What purpose are we using this way for? That's a very good question. Because if you know the answer to this question, you also know what would happen if you would make it a little bit less big, large, luxury. What's the lifespan? Good question. Did it take 50 years, which would be extremely long? Then we might maybe reduce. If they did 10 years, then it is actually too cheap, probably. Jayendra is going well in the chat section. Do we use local materials as much as possible? Make it question, Jayendra. Not the answers. Don't give answers. Only ask questions. You may assume that the engineer has done a good job. So instead of how to reduce maintenance costs, what are the maintenance costs? Will this affect? Minisha, you ask, if you spend less money, will the lifespan, maintenance needs change? That's a good question. But now think about more questions which are related to this one. For example, what is it that needs most maintenance? Needs most maintenance. in this road. So the main question was, what if we spend less money? So there were many ideas, of course, to make it cheaper, right? What do we need to know where we can make it cheaper? What do we need to know? Can you give an example of successful cost reduction project you have led? I gave them in the beginning. There were some bridges and we changed the way how you make it. So the bridge, the cable stayed bridge can become a girder bridge, or the pile foundation, the pile wall can become a foam mortar. Will it be operated as per expectations? Well, also a question. What's operation? Question mark. Well, that's already great. So let me do something nice here. I'm going to generate some ideas based on the questions that you made. So wait a minute, because I will explain later how we did it. I'll put all the questions that you have put here in ChatGPT, and I asked ChatGPT to give ideas to reduce the cost of this road. In a real value engineering study, we wouldn't ask ChatGPT, we would ask the participants to come up with the ideas. But in this webinar, so I asked Bashish and Shubash and Hein to brainstorm ideas, and wait a minute, we are still brainstorming and we are coming very quickly up with at least 25 ideas. Hold on. Let me think. I will put some sticky notes there. One moment. ChatGPT is thinking now. Hold on. Let me see if I can copy paste this like, no, wait. I'm getting the ideas. I think this can work. Paste. Boom. I have about, oh, I have a lot of ideas. Wow. Wait. A lot of empty ideas too. So do you want to know all the ideas? You can read them and I can maybe put them in the message. Oh, I'm exceeding the limits of the chat section. I will show you like this. So the idea is that we can add more functions, better performance, lower cost. So in the brainstorm, when we have done this information session and we would try to improve the value, we would do a brainstorm on all the functions, on all the costs, on all performances, on all the risks, on anything that can use something. So in the brainstorm, there are good ideas and bad ideas. But first we need a lot of ideas, because any idea will help to stimulate creativity. So someone says, yeah, let's add dedicated freight lanes to boost trade efficiency. Okay. And someone says, well, let us do some parts earlier, then we can use it. Or someone says, let's do less lanes and expand later. That will be a big cost reduction, of course, right? So in a real value engineering study, we would start evaluating this idea. Suppose we would have less lanes. Does it work? Do we have enough capacity during peak hours for the next years? And when will we reach the limits? Can we expand it at that time? If it will take, for example, 20 years before the road is full, then we make it smaller by now, right? Can we integrate digital tolling? Can we use high performance asphalt for longer life cycle? Might be a good idea. We should calculate it. Do we use local materials, rock, sand, wherever possible? Do we design the exits to serve local economic hubs and towns? That was one of the questions, right? So yes, they must be there, and then we go to the drawing and we see how much there are. Can we add intelligent transport, etc., 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 etc. This is what is happening in a value engineering study. Target cost savings through procurement bundling. So this is an idea of someone said during procurement, we must try to combine parts of the work so we can get some cost optimization. Add rainwater harvesting from road surfaces. Okay, maybe it's a good idea. Can we lease the construction equipment instead of purchasing? Well, maybe, I don't know. Integrated maintenance contracts. How are we going to contract it, by the way? Right, so this was very quickly, because you asked so many questions, it was very easy to generate ideas. And this is the reason why you first must ask a lot of questions before you jump to conclusions, because a good question can stimulate creativity tremendously. Are there questions? I see one question already from Jayendra. Jayendra asks, is there an effective project team? Yes, there is. There is. You must keep it as small as possible. So 10 people, maybe. But you need to have all the expertise. You need to have the expertise from the traffic engineers for this project. You must have the construction engineers. Maybe there is someone who must have the local knowledge, who knows how the areas are there and the soil and how the people are living there. You must, what else do we need? Geotechnical engineer, maybe. You need to have a road construction. Maybe you need people who live in the cities and are doing the roads currently, so they know exactly why they would use it. Are there more questions? Any questions? Subhash, do you have questions? Or Bishish? Or Bam?
One more question to add on, Mr. Han.
Yeah.
So actually, observing all of the questions, more questions were just like leaning towards in which phases of project life cycle does value engineering actually valuable to implement?
Yeah. So often you would calculate the life cycle costs of a project, and that might include profits and benefits, and it might include the maintenance on the other side. So you have to spend the maintenance money, and you have to buy the equipment, and then you try to figure out if you get more economic value, right? But sometimes it's not about economy, it's about aesthetics, for example. Or it is just because people want to travel fast to see their family faster. You can calculate it in money, but you can also try to calculate it in, I don't know, how you feel about it or how you think you would like to spend it. Making it more beautiful, maybe. Or saving nature, for example. Nature is very hard to quantify in terms of money, but still we value nature, right? So we try to figure out that value by discussing and by comparing it to each other to see what our opinions are of value. And we try to quantify it as much as possible, especially the costs and benefits, of course.
There is one more question in chat box, Hein.
From Rirjan, right?
Yeah.
Is value engineering only limited to cost balancing, or does it have other significant one reader time, Nepal, anyway? Yeah, of course. It is in the end about client satisfaction. Are you satisfied with the updates of the ideas of as we have generated? So is it still beautiful enough? Is it complying to your suggestions? So let me see. I can show you one of the workshops I've been doing recently. It has become a big board. Did it? No, this is not the best one. Maybe I go to, let me see. It's not here, I think. I will find one of the, oh, let's go to here because we had some of those. So this was about the Kretek Bridge. Remember, it was in the examples here, Kretek Bridge. Originally it was cable stayed, and in the end, one course drive became a different kind of horizontal, what is it? Carrying the cars, the girder. So the cables was very nice, very beautiful. They were removed, and it was just an ordinary girder. So the cables were removed. It just became ordinary girder. It took a lot of effort in the creativity to find out how you could make it better. So ideas were generated. Instead of cable stayed, you could make it a bridge like this, which is pretty usually the case. And we're trying to find the durability versus the ease of construction versus the capacity versus the aesthetics versus something I don't know versus something I don't know. This is Bahasa Indonesia, different language. So there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 characteristics, 7 success criteria were used to measure the improvement of the idea. So on the one hand, there is money, but there were 6 more that make sure that you don't only focus on money, but also on the outcome of the project, because the outcome of the project is not only about money, it's also about the ease of use, or the time you have to wait, or if you like it, just your personal subjectivity, but you can pay money for it, right? So the intangible benefits, like aesthetics, are indeed part of the value engineering. And why is that? Because we sometimes are willing to pay for it. If it is more beautiful, we are willing to pay for it. Not too much, but we don't want the very ugly designs, right? Okay.
So thank you everyone, including our respected guest speakers and everyone. Especially thank you, Hen and Alvin, and
Yeah, thank you.
yeah, and also our moderator for the webinar, Subhas sir. So we are really grateful to everyone for this wonderful webinar, possibly for the first time in Nepal. So I'm going to share my screen for the future steps which we are likely to take in the days to come. Here we are. So we are almost at the end of the webinar. Uh, and then we are planning for the first formal training on value engineering in Nepal. It's called BM1 training. So you can also go through the dates. It is planned to be held between 8th and 12th September. So we will have 40 hours training in 1 week, possibly in 5 days. The training will be conducted physical when Hen will be visiting Nepal. And then you will also get an international certification for the training, for attending the training. So the certification, I guess, will be from the European body. So maybe Hen will tell about this more in after my concluding remarks. And then you can go through the training objectives. You can also take a screenshot of this. Um, so uh, so if you want to book your seat for the training, you also have our email address. It's Nepal Institute of Engineering at gmail.com. And you can also directly call me at 970-918-4321. and then for the contents regarding the BM1 training. So we have different, I guess, three modules of the value engineering trainings, and the first one is BM1 training. So you can click this link or go through this link to get the syllabus or the course content. So I guess this much. And the last thing is we are also making an association of um, the aspiring value engineering participants from Nepal. So we are planning to institutionalize value engineering in Nepal. So if you are interested to join this association, we are more than happy to welcome you. And then together we will organize different programs, some trainings, maybe some more webinars like this, and we will try to integrate with the value engineering community throughout the globe. So thank you from my side. Hindu, would you like to add anything to this?
Yeah. So some people want to know, how can you start with value engineering now, actually? Because, well, and my answer is very simple. So you have the 9 value questions, right? You have the access to the Miro board, or you will get it. Those 9 value questions are fantastic starting point to do value engineering. Start asking questions. Do we need it? How much do we need it? What if we spend less? What if we spend more? And there are more questions. Those are fantastic. If you start doing that, you will learn to ask critical questions. And when you have answers to those questions, it's so easy to brainstorm more ideas. Next thing you can do is get a training with a certified trainer. I'm a certified trainer. Elvin is going to be a certified trainer. And I hope Nepal is going to have certified trainers in the future. But first you have to learn it, right? So maybe I'm the first trainer and then more will follow. Do the VM1 if you want to implement it. And after that, you can start facilitating value engineering studies. It's a very intense training for a week, 40 hours, 5 days. What you also can do is just hire a value engineer, hire a consultant. I know in India there are lots of value engineers. I don't think Nepal has already value engineers. You can also Google around. And if you Google for value engineers, there's a very good chance you will find me or Elvin as well. You also can do workshops online. You can do them live. So how do you get started? Well, just start with the 9 value questions. If you like more the training, do the VM1. If you don't like training but want to start anyway and don't want to do the questioning, then hire a value engineer. Or you can even start looking at the N.I.E website, or maybe did I put it there? Yeah, to the IVM Nepal org website. It's in the chat section and you can read more about it. Well, that's, I think, what I would like to have added. Yeah, one more thing. If you do the VM1, it's an international certified training. So you will get international certificate for this training. And people will recognize your skills everywhere around the world with this certificate. It will be issued by the certification board, the Dutch Certification Council. That's a formal non-for-profit organization. They will check the credentials. They will check you really did do the training and you finished it well. And then you may get your Qualified Value Associate title, QVA. And if you proceed later on, you even can become a practitioner in value management, which is also an international certificate. And it will help you to, well, to do better engineering, and it may help you in your career as engineer. I think that's it, what I wanted to say, Bashish.
So I think that's enough. So I guess you have addressed everything, and we have done it too. So we are at the near end of this webinar regarding the other details regarding the VM1 training, which is going to be conducted in Kathmandu. We will be talking to you in person after this webinar, and you can also contact us. I already gave you the contact number and email address. And regarding the IBM Nepal, you can again, if you would like to join this association of value engineers from Nepal, because we do not have an association as such already in Nepal. So I think it's an opportunity for everyone who is interested in value engineering to be maybe a possible pioneer in the days to come. So you are more than welcome. So please contact me. Then we can proceed ahead. So thank you everyone. Thank you Hen. Thank you Elvin, our moderator Subhash sir, everyone, and the participants who made this event, this webinar interactive.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening so long and for your good questions. Okay, then I say farewell to everybody. I hope to see you in Nepal and in the VM1 training, or just by email or a Teams meeting or whatever. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you so